a way of celebrating the midwinter moment when the sun is in the sky the shortest time of the year. And in Wiccan traditions, this is the death of the old sun god and the birth of the new sun god. And the new sun god is young and vigorous and warms up the world as he comes into his own and grows. And so it has a birth of a god. It has candles and fires. There's a very, very big tradition about Yule that comes from thousands of years ago. There was a time when the Yule log, in many areas around the northern part of the world, the Yule log was a tradition. And I do want to tell you a little bit about the Russian use of the Yule log. And this is like right at the Arctic Circle. There would be people who would be in the dark on the day, and so they would start the night before, they would put together a fire in one place in the village. Everybody would congregate in one hut around one fire in the dark. And each person would make amends for whatever they felt they needed to make amends for in the dark, in the fire. Everybody would put their regrets and their apologies into the ending of the old year, and that would be the beginning of the blessing. And then everybody would take a part of that fire back to their own home and start a new fire representing the new sun. There was a great tradition of it's okay to burn this tree because there will be more trees. And so Yule was a big part of what makes Wicca celebration on solstice happen. And of course, in the Southern Hemisphere, they also celebrate Wicca and have for thousands of years, and they do it the opposite. So June 21st, our summer solstice is their winter solstice, but we're all following the course of the sun and worshiping the sun. That's my story.
Beautiful. I really enjoy it.
I would love to do a whole presentation on Wicca and how it applies to nature sometime. I realized this would be really fun. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was
Yes,
beautiful.
how do you spell
That's
Wicca?
beautiful. That's beautiful.
How do
Thank
you
you.
spell? How do you spell Wicca?
Wicca, solstice,
No,
Solstic.
no, Wicca, Wicca,
Wicca, Wicca.
Wict,
No, Wicca.
Wicca.
Wicca, yeah.
Wicca.
So things are
CC.
Wiccan.
CC.
And the word wick means life, life in the plant, Wicca.
Wicca. Oh, wow. Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful, Landry. Thank you. And I think, a general presentation on Wicca and how it relates to gardening might be a good May or June program for the club.
Thank you. About it
So
later.
let's work on that. Thank you. That was really beautiful. And like, of course, many traditions, have a winter light fire connection, of course, because it's dark and scary.
This is a solstice card that my friend made for me many, many years ago using a bottle cap. And I bring it out every December.
Just a minute. I don't think we can see that. Let's see. Louise, can you? Oh, I see it with the bottle cap. Yeah, nice. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Mary Sharman is going to play some Hanukkah songs for us. And let me just try to get the screen together first so that we can see the lyrics. Again, if you want to sing along for this one, please mute yourself so that it's not too distracting when we are all singing on a different line. Oops, wrong one, sorry. Oh, we're learning this little by little. All right, slides. We're going back to slides. And we've got holiday songs. Sorry, we'll get faster at this, I'm sure. I feel sure. All right, let's see. Am I sharing yet? No, share screen.
These Hanukkah songs celebrate light and the candles, and the lighting of one candle each day for 8 days is a special celebration of the history of the Jews. And part of that is also a family festival with children playing with tops, dreidels, and spinning. So these are two songs that are very much loved at Hanukkah.
Sorry, just a second. I have to go back to the first one again. Oh, I love Zoom. Okay. All right, just one sec. All right, we're on the first one, Mary.
Ooh, love it. Love it.
And the dreidel song is a very short one.
Well, maybe we can sing it twice, Mary.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and so this is...
It's made of clay, and when it's dry and creaky,
good, wonderful. Thank you, Mary.
Oh.
Thank you. All right. All right. Well, if Ruth and Gillis are ready, I see you've got your menorah, and you have to unmute yourself, dears. And let's see, I'm going to spotlight you. Let's see if that works. Yes. Oh, good. You've got it. Lovely.
Here we are. So Hanukkah is actually a very minor Jewish holiday, which has really become more prominent over time because it corresponds to Christmas, so it happens at the same time. But in terms of the Jewish calendar, it's not a very major holiday. But it refers to the time when the Romans had conquered Jerusalem, and the Romans had despoiled the temple. And so there was a revolt against them when the temple was rededicated to Jewish worship. And when they rededicated it, in the temple was a menorah, which was supposed to be kept burning continuously. But at the time they rededicated it, there was only enough oil to keep the menorah burning for one day. And it would take several days to reconsecrate oil to keep the menorah burning. But miraculously, the oil that was supposed to only last one day, in fact, lasted for 8 days, and so they were able to keep the menorah burning until new consecrated oil was available. So the tradition is that you light a menorah, and each day you add one extra candle until at the end of the holiday, you will have 9 candles burning, because there's one candle that you use to light the other candles, and then you will have a total of 8 burning by the end of the holiday, 8 days from now. And traditionally, because this is a holiday about oil, you traditionally also eat fried foods of various kinds. So the tradition in Western Europe or America is to eat fried potato pancakes, latkes. But in fact, if you go around the world in various Jewish communities, there are different traditional foods that they eat, but they all involve oil in some kind. In Israel, actually, they tend to eat donuts. that are fried in oil. So the tradition is that you light 8 candles to represent the 8 days that the menorah miraculously kept burning until new oil was available, and you eat foods that are fried in oil to remind you of this period. And you sing traditional Hanukkah songs, of which we've just heard a couple. So those are the traditions.
And also, it's interesting for us having, well, I'm a Native American, and then coming, not a Native, born in America, and I'm coming to England, that even the way they make potato pancakes in America is different than the way they make them in England. So there are these minor geographical variations. In the U.S., they tend to put in onion and chop the potato up in sort of matchstick-sized pieces, and in England, it's almost like mashed potatoes being deep fried and no onion. So even across the ocean, it's a bit different.
Yeah. And the other tradition is once you light the menorah, you can't blow out the candles. You have to allow the candles to burn down by themselves. And you cannot use the light of the menorah for any other purpose. So you can't read by the light of the menorah. You can't use the light of the menorah to light a room. You're supposed to only look at it to remind you of the holiday.
And it's also traditional to put it in the window so that you are telling the community that you are an observant Jew.
That was perfect. That was wonderful. We're so glad that because just a couple of days ago I was saying we have nothing for Hanukkah. And I just love that you guys were able to share your menorah, that we were able to see it and hear a little bit about it. And there you are over in the dark of England, in the middle of the night.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from you guys.
Yeah, it's
Really?
very, very nice. And I know, you know, for children, it's difficult, I think, because Christmas is so commercialized. But they do get a present every night of Hanukkah, one present per night.
No. When I was growing up, actually, my parents, again, regarding it as a minor holiday, I got one present. And I'm sure there's a compromise between, it's really only, the present thing is sort of a recent addition.
It's become more commercialized.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has.
But you do play this gambling game with the dreidel.
Yeah.
And traditionally you give chocolate coins, you know, which represent the game that you play with the dreidel.
Yes, we used to get those chocolate coins for Christmas, actually, because they were available at Cost Plus, where we bought all our Christmas presents. And so a bag of chocolate, who wouldn't want it, you know? Well, thank you so much. That was just perfect. That was just wonderful. And we're so glad that you could join us for that. We have Hanukkah. Oh, we have Fong going to tell us a little anecdote about something that happened in Vietnam, and we're looking forward to that. So Fong, you're muted right now.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, the reason I'm outside my garden because I'm talking behind my husband's back. Okay, about a story, which happened to him that he told me. And okay, and it is a true story. I mean, I don't per him. When he was in his 20s, that was more than half a century ago. Okay, he was a young college student, and there was that Christmas is very big in Vietnam. I would say in Saigon. Okay, and most of them are Catholics. Anyway, there was that Catholic young lady that my husband really liked. Okay, and you know, you remember that was 50 years ago, okay? And, you know, the rule of very strict for dating, you know, you cannot just ask a girl out. So, you know, so one time, you know, so one day during Christmas, just before Christmas, he approached the girl and said, could we go out on Christmas Eve, doing something together? And to his big surprise, he said, yes. And she asked, would you like to spend the night with me? Okay. So, boy, you could imagine, you know, we're talking about more than 50 years ago in Vietnam, you know. So my husband said, you know, well, after a moment of surprise, he finally said, okay, oh, yeah, you know. So he was very eager, okay. So on that day, he came and picked her up, and she told him where to go. And then, so they went to a church, the Notre Dame of Saigon, which is a big church, you know. Okay, so they went and they, you know, he did whatever she did, you know. He's Buddhist, he doesn't know anything. So she said, show me. So they went and light the candle, and she kneel and he would kneel and whatever. And then he found out that she belonged to the, you said, the old tradition of Catholic, that during that day, they go around the church all night. Okay, so he said, "Wow!" so he has to follow her, and he went around the church all night with her. I mean, some people, they do it like the old Spanish way. They carry the statue, you know, some of the statue of Virgin Mary and all that. They would care. You know, so he went all night there. So he came down. He said, so after that, he said, "Wow, that was our date, all night date." Okay, so that's it. So now he got to learn the tradition, you know. Okay, so that was you know, his story, that he didn't know that was an all night date. So that's what he got. Okay. Oh.
That is really cute, Fong. Yeah, he was surprised that that's what she meant.
Yeah. But he enjoyed, and he said he learned a lot. He learned a lot, you know.
Oh,
yeah.
That's really great. That's
they do that in New Mexico. Santa
right.
Fe.
Yeah. The tradition, yeah, the carry
yes,
the Virgin
very
Mary,
old Catholic one. Of, yes.
Go many around the church, you know. Yeah, and each time they have to kiss. You kiss and then they turn they in line. They kiss the Virgin Mary feet. And oh, I forgot to tell you those. Give me one more minute. So everybody was lined up to kiss. You had to kiss the Virgin Mary feet. Okay. So you imagine the big long line, and some old lady before kissing, they do their prayers, whatever they do. So they were holding up the line. Okay. So my husband, he was observing. He said the rest of all the lady behind them lost their lost their patience, and to say, would you please kiss quickly? You know, they push each other. My husband, they thought it was something for him to see, pushing people, say, hurry up and kiss, hurry up. You know, so that was really nice. Good memory. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cute. That's really cute, Fong. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thanks. So, Barbara, are you ready to talk to us about Italian tradition? And I'm not sure if you're talking about your own family traditions or Italian Americans in general. You tell us.
Okay. Well, of course, when I get to do something like this, I have to research it. So I was on Google and I said, what is an Italian Christmas? And so I got a history, which I didn't really know. In Italy, the holiday starts on December 8th and goes to January 6th. They don't fool around. They've got a lot of celebrating to do. And the traditions vary from town to town, especially with food. In southern Italy, carolers and bagpipers travel from town to town. Now, you have to realize in the early time of this, the towns were very isolated and people just stayed in that little community. And that's how the traditions are so different. So they give presents, and Santa Lucia, you might have heard of her because I think she does a Swedish bread. She brings presents for kids on December 13th. That's celebrating a martyr who took food to persecuted Christians who were held in the catacombs. So that's how Santa Lucia became a saint. Also, all through the country, they have Christmas markets and nativity scenes. And there's a world famous one in Naples, handmade. Naples had the most beautiful artistic Christmas nativity scenes. And Bob and I saw this in a museum. They had loaned it to a museum. I'm not even sure which museum, if it was New York Metropolitan or if it was San Francisco, but it was a beautiful life-size creche. And I wonder if that's how Sundar Shadi decided to do his Bethlehem village life-size that he did. So who knows where the traditions start and end. But Naples has a very mixed heritage. From the 12th to the 19th century, French, Spanish, Austrians, and Bourbons infiltrated and ran things for a while. And so the pastries that we like so much go back to these different times, like baba, zeppola, and sfogliatelli, which I love. And they trace back to that time in the 12th to 19th century. And then I came across an unusual tradition that I never knew of either, called Befana. And I know Louise has a book about this, but if you Google Befana, you can hear the whole story of the Befana lady. And what happens is this woman she was entertaining the three kings, and they invited her to go back. They were still on their way to Bethlehem, and they asked her to go with them, and she didn't want to. But after they left, she was sorry that she had said no. So she decided to go out to help the Magi take gifts for the birth of Jesus. And she changed her mind and began to knock on every door, leaving gifts for children. She came in the form of an old witch-looking lady on a broom with a pointy hat and long skirt. And I wondered, did this tradition travel to Mexico? Because when Bob and I were in Mexico, this is an ornament. We bought a whole bunch of Christmas ornaments, and this was one of them. And I think that's La Befana in Mexico. And yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Other customs that they did in Europe, putting up a tree, hanging stockings, and the Tuscan tradition of Seppo. I think that's how you say it. C-E-P-P-O. They have a Christmas log that they save until Christmas Eve comes, and they burn it in a fireplace on Christmas night. And in this country, we do have a Yule log cake. So maybe that's carrying the tradition here. They also shared simple gifts. And this kind of came up in my family. Tangerines, dried fruits, and baked goods. We didn't get a lot of presents, but we shared a lot of food. And that's what Italians are about, sharing food and family. So the Christmas Eve food varied because if you lived by the ocean, you would have fish. But if you were inland, they had grilled eels, which are not bad eating. I've cooked an eel. They also had capons and lamb, and this was very regional. Some people would put out extra bread on the table for the poor and grass and grains for the animals of the world. And I think that is part of a Jewish tradition where they put straw on the table, but I'm not sure. We'll ask somebody else later. So in this country, Christmas Eve usually has 7 types of fish, or 9, or 11, or 13, depending on the cook. Meat was not eaten on Christmas Eve. This goes back in our country quite a ways, because it was considered a day of fasting. Fasting meaning no meat, because there was certainly a lot of food. My family often had bacala, which is dried cod, which if soaked for 3-4 days, gets the salt out, you're lucky, and it becomes a good dish. The leftover bacala is used the next day to make a seafood salad, which I've seen in some restaurants. It's the fish, shrimp, clams, things like that, with celery, pretty plain. Some people open one crescent on Christmas Eve, but Christmas Day was no holds barred. A 4-hour feast, this is in this country, antipasta, followed by pasta or soup, roast lamb with grappa, which is a very strong drink made from the grape skins, followed by the sweets. And of course, here we get serious. The sweets are very important. We usually start with panettone, which is a Milanese from Milan, originated in the 16th century. A baker fell in love with a princess and baked a golden buttery egg bread to win her heart. And that was the beginning of panettone, maybe. In the 19th century, with the unification of Italy, which really changed that country a lot, they embellished the panettone with candied red cherries and green citron as a patriotic gesture. So the traditional sweets that I'll get to are said to have originated in convents. I guess the nuns had time to bake and do things. Neapolitan honey pastry was a favorite. It's fried pastry ribbons sprinkled with powdered sugar. Or another pastry similar, which my family does, is small bowls of pastry fried and drizzled with honey. That's called strufala, S-T-R-U-F-A-L-A. And some Italian bakeries in San Francisco and around here, I think still make them to sell. I make them myself because my daughter loves them. Also dried figs, candied almonds. You see candied almonds a lot for celebrations like weddings and Christmas. And chestnuts. Chestnuts were always eaten, cooked sometimes over the fire, and marzipan. So let me give you a hint about the chestnuts. My son tells me that when you make a little X in the chestnut to let the steam out and let it cook, do not go through the second layer. Just cut the X in the outer layer, which is a tough layer. And the steam helps them cook really well. But not to be forgotten, around here, pinoli cookies, which is the pine nuts, anise flavored cookies, and biscotti. And cucciadata is another pastry made with figs. In my family with Bob and us, we have springerly. And how did that get into our Italian tradition? From my Polish mother-in-law, who was born here, but she got the recipe from a German baker next door to her. And she made them every year. And maybe Clark knows about the German tradition of the springerly. But by New Year's, lentils were eaten for good luck and good fortune, and you wore red. Now, in this country, I know some people eat black-eyed peas every New Year's Day. It's a custom. So, Buon Natale, Merry Christmas. That's, in a nutshell, what the Italians do. And stop by. If you can come in the house or stand outside, I'll give you a cookie. Bye.
Thank
you, Barbara. That is wonderful, and you've made me really hungry. Well, and I've had the springly, and they were fantastic. I haven't had all those Italian delicacies from you, so I will come stand on your sidewalk maybe and see what you give out. Thank you. That was absolutely wonderful. And I think we're moving on to Germany. Clark, are you ready to share? Is it going to be about your time in Germany or about traditions in general?
Unmute yourself.
We got it. Are you ready?
We're ready for you, yes.
I'm wondering, can you by any chance see this very well?
The beer stein.
There we go.
This is that's the Zugspitz.
Okay.
Right there, Clark. It can be seen.
Okay.
Oh, it's wonderful, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, this is a story or a remembrance of our time in Germany, where we were teaching school in 1962 to 64. We were working with the children of dependent airmen at a what is called Simbach, Air Force Base in central Germany. And we decided that we were going to go to Athens. But before we went to Athens, we were encouraged by one of Lemerle's friends who was German, and the mother of one of her students, who asked us to carry down to Munich, which is where we were going to catch the train.
12 gifts.
12 gifts that filled the back seat of our Volkswagen, which also contained 2 ladies that were in the back seat with all of that. Well, let me tell you, we woke up really early in the morning on Christmas Eve day, the day before Christmas, okay? And it was cold in Germany. It was so cold that year that the Rhine River froze over. And as we got into our Volkswagen and stuffed the 2 people with the packages in the back seat.
People.
3 people, really?
And Lois, you, and me.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how we did it. It was my new car, a Volkswagen. I did have snow tires. And so we lit out probably about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we're heading down into the southern part of Germany, into the Tyrolean Alps. Needless to say, the streets and roadways were filled with snow and ice. This was not fun. The women were absolutely scared half to death. But I'm from Colorado, and I know something about snow and ice in the wintertime.
Whoops, I turned it.
Lemerle, what are you doing?
I just goofed up your, there, go ahead.
Okay, so we get on the roadway. The drive down to Munich from where we were was supposed to be about 5 hours. 12 hours later, I should say 12 hours later, to get to a small village in the Tyrolean Alps, which contained is where the family of this teacher friend of Lemerle's, who was also German, wanted us to deliver these gifts. Well, the gifts, the 3 people in the back seat, the 2 people in front, actually got down to the southern part of Germany safe and sound. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. So we arrived to this little village, absolutely beautiful little place. And it's at the foot of the Zugspitz, which is the highest mountain in Germany. And so if you can picture this, coming into the small village with lights in the different little chalets, and actually trees in the center of the village that had white lights on them. And it had just begun to dim. Well, we knew that we better hurry because we had a lot to do, we thought, for this evening. And we went on and found, people gave us directions to this chalet that was part of the village. And the people that were there were the people that we were leaving the gifts with, and they had provided us lodging for the night. Well, in order for us to get up to where we took our luggage, we had to carry it all up on a sled and pull the sled up the hill. Okay. Well, it was snowing, and let me tell you, it was cold.
Ask her if she has their pictures.
I don't know if you have the pictures or not of us and the sled, Martha, but Anyway, that's where this is supposed to be. Anyway, we brought the sled up into the house. We got all the gifts to the people. They were absolutely delighted because the gifts were bought in the store that's just part of the Air Force Base. And there are a lot of stuff that the Germans didn't have access to that became the presents that this lady was sending to her family down in southern Germany. Well, after visiting with them and having refreshments, they said to us, how about going to Christmas Eve ceremony at our local church in the village? Well, we had seen this church coming into the village, and I was so impressed with it because it was a steeple with an onion dome on top of it. And there, you can see the village and how much snow there was, okay? It not only snowed up north, but it snowed down south. Anyway, we saw the little church and thought, oh, that is so cool. We'd seen pictures of churches like that in magazines, but never for real. You can go back to the first two pictures, Mark. Thank you. So anyway, and you can go back to me now. No, you leave me off. This is better. Just look at the pictures, okay? Anyway, so we had this wonderful visit with the people who decided or encouraged us to go to Christmas Eve service at this Onion Dome small village church. The church actually held probably upwards of 100 people. Most of the people were seated, but there were a sizable number around the back and around the sides of people who had to stand because there were so many people. Our hosts had said, you want to be sure to wear something warm because the church isn't heated. We're talking the coldest winter in centuries in Germany at that point in time. Well,
Martha, if you can show this picture right here, it's a little church. There it is. There it is. Whoops, there. I can't figure out how to hold it straight.
You just look at that.
Okay.
There you go. Okay, you got a clue about the church. The church was sitting on a hill and it had terraces, and on the terraces were graves. And on the graves were little chalet-like things with interior wood carvings of the crucifix on almost all of the graves. And there were probably 100 graves because it was an old church. Well, it was so pretty because there were people out there. Not only did they have the chalet on the graves on this terraced area, but they also had placed little spruce trees, Christmas trees on many of the graves. And there were people putting little holders on the tree, and I guess later they were going to put candles on. Anyway, I thought, wow, this is really cool. Yes, it is very cold. I'm so glad that I brought everything I brought to just stay warm to go to Athens, Greece, which is where we were going after this little period of time. Anyway, we went into the interior of the church, which I said was packed with probably upwards of 100 people. It was beautiful. There were no lights except 2 Christmas trees on either side of the back of the front of the church. And they had live lit candles. It's the only heat besides us in the whole structure. Okay, so the program begins, and it was a wonderful program with singing great German hymns. And at the same time, we were going to be involved with communion. Communion was happening, the Christmas Eve communion. I didn't say to you, but there was in the center of the church, between the 2 Christmas trees, this beautiful manger scene. A manger scene with the baby Jesus and the family. And they were just beautifully displayed. Well, after communion, as you finished communion, you were touching the forehead of the baby Jesus. And everybody took their time. And then, what are you pointing to?
The finale.
The finale, okay. After the communion and then the music and so on, there was one more song. And that song was written by Germans, and it was called Silent Night.
Stille Nacht.
Viele Nacht.
Stille Nacht.
Okay, she's very good at this. Anyway, what happened was, you would have thought this was the national song or anthem for all of Germany, because these people didn't sing it. They sang it beautifully, okay? And you felt like it was just a heart-throbbing experience. I will never forget it as long as I live. It was absolutely beautiful. And just as that was concluded and they had the benediction, and we were encouraged to walk out into the back of the church, or where the terrace cemetery was, and all of those graves were of fire with candles on these beautiful pine trees, spruce trees. So that was the church service, and it was just great. And everybody then went off into their different little houses, and you could see the lights come on, and people jumping in bed and turning the lights off because it was so cold. We found our way to our chalet, and we jumped into bed and looked forward to Christmas morning. Well, Christmas morning for us at that time was basically having breakfast and at the same time exchanging gifts. Lemuel has the gift that I gave her, this being an Italian carving, wood carving, not a German one.
It's an Henri, which is at the bottom of a long, 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 long mountain trail, which we didn't go to, but he brought each of us young ladies a little doll, a little statue.
Okay, thank you, Lemuel. We exchanged presents. I don't remember what I got. I don't think I have it still. And so anyway, we loaded up our luggage and so on, took the sled down the hill and loaded up the car. And the five of us had more room because we didn't have all these gifts. You said there were 3 people in the back seat.
Four of us all together in the car.
Oh, okay.
And we drove to the train station in Munich.
Oh, we drove on then to Munich, and then we caught the Orient Express to Athens, Greece.
For 14 hours frozen solid.
And that in itself is a story that sometime we'd love to share with you. So that was the Christmas that we had. We had an absolutely wonderful 2 years of teaching with wonderful people and seeing the country of Germany and countries around Germany. Lemuel continued to participate as a teacher in Germany, and then Okinawa, then Japan, and then Okinawa. At the end of that time, we got married. And so that's us.
Frohe Weihnachten.
Oh, beautiful. Wow, what a memorable experience to be in all that snow and everything so Christmassy there. Thank you, Clark and Lemuel. That sounds really wonderful. And now Mary is going to play some more songs for us. And please join in, mutedly at home if you want. I'm going to share a screen if I can figure it out more quickly this time. And I hope everyone can see that. Let's see. And let's see.
I'm going to suggest just one verse of all these. We're running out of time, I think, so I'm going to do one verse of each.
Okay, that sounds great, Mary. Okay, the first Noel.
A shepherd carol. It comes from the medieval age. Very old shepherd song.
Love it.
Okay, a little
Child of Bethlehem. It's an American carol, and it was written by Philip Brooks, Bishop of Massachusetts.
Oh, sorry. Wait a minute, let me go back to it.
A very popular American Christmas carol.
Sorry, just a second, Mary. Wait just a second. Sorry. Darn, this is thing. All right.
Sorry, I'm in the wrong key. And that beautiful Silent Night, Stille Nacht, a German carol that is beloved by all of us in the Western world. Oh, come all ye faithful. A Protestant and Catholic church loves this anthem carol, and we sing it with pleasure here.
What a treat. I enjoyed it.
Beautiful, Mary. And I hope you all noticed the photo I found of our own Sundar Shadi display.
Wow.
I was quite proud of finding that photo. Thank you, Mary. That was absolutely beautiful. And now Marion is going to tell us a little bit about Christmas in Mexico. If Marion is still.
Thank you, Martha. So far, the program has been beautiful. Early in the 1990s, my husband and I and our best friends went to Puerto Vallarta for December, the middle 2 weeks. And we're in a private timeshare home in Puerto Vallarta. And after dinner, my girlfriend and I heard music. So we decided to go down and investigate it. It was a beautiful parade. The women were dressed in white with high heels, walking on cobblestones. And to this day, I have no idea how they do that. I could barely walk with walking shoes on the cobblestones. The men were dressed, the children were dressed festively, and the men in the band were dressed in white shirt and pants with a colorful serape over their shoulders, and they're playing their instruments, also with white sombreros. Following the band was a flatbed truck with a wooden wall built behind the cab. And on that wall, about halfway up, was a large globe of the world. It stopped right in front of where we were standing, and slowly the globe opened, revealing the Lady of Guadalupe and sitting on a platform holding the Christ child. We were in awe. It was absolutely beautiful. The globe slowly closed as the parade moved on, stopping every so often, and we followed, watching and listening to the music. Later, we learned that the Hispanic people worship the Lady of Guadalupe, and they do this parade every December. Our next Christmas in Mexico was in Zihuatanejo, Mexico in 1993. We were sailing on our boat in the harbor, and it was just before Christmas that we learned from other sailors that there was to be a parade celebrating the Lady again. We went ashore to watch it, and the people in the parade were again dressed in white. The band was the local high school students playing just slightly off key. Then we saw the flatbed truck. This time it was decorated like the desert. And there was a man dressed as an Indian bending over fire. He brought the warmth over to the Lady of Guadalupe and the Christ child sitting on the truck. It was beautiful. The parade ended up at the church with everybody waiting to hear the service, including all of the people that were watching the parade go by. We went back to our boat filled with the spirit of Christmas. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Marion. What amazing,
Beautiful.
What wonderful memories. I'm so happy you shared those. And we're just going to segue right into my little presentation that the board members asked me to make because of a comment I just happened to make one day at a meeting. And so this is a tradition in Mexico that I have never experienced personally, but that sounded so interesting that I did some research into it. So this is a festival in Oaxaca, Mexico, called the Night of the Radishes, or La Noche de Rábanos. And it's an annual festival that takes place every year in Oaxaca on December 23rd, and is now a big tourist attraction. And the reason that I got interested in this was because of this novel, which is a novel for kids around 8 or 9 up to about 13, or somebody my age might also enjoy it. And some of you might know that I'm a children's librarian, so I do a lot of reading of children's books. And this was a beautiful novel about a 5th grade girl in a very dysfunctional home situation, a very non-traditional family, who takes a trip to Mexico to reunite with her long lost dad. And during it, she goes to this fantastic festival. And I thought, what a vivid imagination this author has. But then, of course, when I Googled it, it turned out to be a real festival, and I was just amazed. So highly recommend this novel, Becoming Naomi Leon. If you have any sort of middle grade kids in your lives, or if you want to read a beautiful family story for yourself. So this is the Zocalo, or town square of Oaxaca, where sadly I've never been, but it's a colonial town, very picturesque. And well over 100 years ago, the tradition started that at the Christmas market, when the farmers had their booths, some of the farmers started to carve vegetables, particularly radishes, to attract more customers to their booth. They would make their booth look more festive, and sometimes the customers would buy these carvings to take them home for centerpieces for Christmas. And the mayor of Oaxaca in 1897 decided this was a good opportunity for a town event, and he made it an annual event, an annual tradition, which now attracts thousands of visitors every year. The kinds of radishes that are grown especially for this festival are these enormous radishes. They're not really edible radishes. And you can see these women harvesting these huge things. And then they are carved. Look at this little boy and the field of radishes behind it. Now it's become such a huge tourist attraction that they've had to dedicate big fields just to this kind of carvable radishes. And here are some of the carvings. You can see this is a whole scene. They don't last very long. They start to discolor quite quickly, apparently. So it's, you know, a couple of days of work and then a few hours of display, and then it's kind of over. Here's another example. This is a little band, I think. And some of the carvings are very intricate. They're also allowed to use corn husks and flowers as part of the display. But I think all the photos I chose are just radishes. So you can see in this crucifixion scene that, you know, all of these little sort of flowers along the arch above the crucifix are all little radishes. I mean, they're really elaborate. Here's a man working on his carving, this fantastic eagle, and you can see that he's using the radish greens as part of the art. They're going to become the feathers, and here is the result of the finished eagle. Pretty spectacular, I think, with those green leaf feathers. And finally, I just loved this turkey. I just think it's so whimsical and fun. So a lot of the themes are religious, of course, but many of them are just whimsical and fun. So that is my talk about the Night of the Radishes. That's all I know about it. I've never been to Oaxaca and haven't been to the festival myself, but it certainly looks worth a trip.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, and now Louise is going to wrap up this little segment with a poetic reading. Are you ready, Louise?
I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna spotlight you and turn off my...
Well, I've enjoyed everybody's stories so much. Some of you might know that I had an antiquarian bookstore and still have over 5,000 books in my home. But today I'm going to tell you about a special book that was originally called A Visit from St. Nicholas. In 1822, a professor of Hebrew and ancient Greek named Clement Clark Moore went out on a Christmas Eve to buy the turkey, bring it home. His children were waiting. He had 6 children. He went into his study, deciding to write a little poem for them as a Christmas gift. He came out and recited the poem. It was entitled A Visit from St. Nicholas. A friend was there at the house, gathered around the fire. The next year, that friend brought a copy of that poem to the local newspaper, the Troy Sentinel, and that was the first publication of A Visit from St. Nicholas in 1823. The original St. Nicholas looked like this, not at all the St. Nicholas that we're familiar with. That St. Nicholas, or Santa Claus, was developed by a political cartoonist, Thomas Nast, in 1863. Thomas Nast is also known for developing our image of Uncle Sam. Over the years, this has become the traditional poem of Christmas. The title of Night Before Christmas didn't occur until 1863. In the 90s, a wonderful woman named Nancy Marshall came into my store. She collected The Night Before Christmas. She had 1,000 different editions. I was invited to go to Williamsburg, Virginia to appraise her collection, which was given to the College of William and Mary, and now her books exist as part of the rare book collection there. So if you're ever in Williamsburg, visit the Rare Book Library and look up the beautiful books of The Night Before Christmas. Sit back and imagine that you're a child once more listening to this poem on Christmas Eve. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, the coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop, the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. Then in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry, his droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. A stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, laying a finger aside of his nose, giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down on the thistle. but I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Thank you.
Wow. Wow. What a treat.
That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Louise. That's the best version I have ever heard of that poem. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you. So now we have the rest of our wonderful music with Mary. So let me just get to that screen, and everybody get your voices together to sing loudly to ourselves. And everybody on mute, I think, is going to be the better way, although we certainly can try it without if you want. All right, so Mary, if you're ready, we're going to go on to Joy to the World. Let me get
Thank you, Louise, for that wonderful closing of the program. Wonderful.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And this is written by our great George Friedrich Handel. Joy to the World, he wrote it in 1742.
That's so much.
Certainly our White Christmas is everybody's favorite. Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Love it, love it.
And why don't we go right on to Jingle Bells? And if you want to open your your sound, we'll try it.
Oh.
All right, if everybody wants to unmute, we can sing together on Jingle Bells. Joyce, you might want to close your ears. I think it will be fun.
Happy holiday. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. What fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's wonderful.
I think Joyce was right.
That's wonderful, Mary.
Mary, that was absolutely beautiful. Your part, anyway.
Thank you, Mary.
That was absolutely
Love it, Mary.
So great idea.
Oh, well, I'm just so glad everybody came and stayed with us. And I do have the slideshow of many of the pictures that you've sent. Some people have sent me things kind of late and I haven't been able to include everything, but you know, I can show it and people can feel free to chat or tell their own story. If you have your own story that you want to share, I think that would be fine. We certainly thank Mary so much for this incredible music. And it just would not have been a party without you, Mary. So
that's right.
We really loved it.
Wonderful group of people. Thank you. It's a nice pleasure to be here. I'm going to have to go. I have another commitment here.
Easy, lady.
You're very popular.
Merry Christmas, Mary.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Bye.
And
Bye, Mary.
Merry Christmas. And we're just so glad to see you again.
Yes. Thank you, Mary.
It was just wonderful.
Mary. Merry Christmas.
So group, these are some pictures for December that, and again, you know, feel free to talk while I show them, or if they're a picture that, if they're a picture that you sent me, you know, please explain it to us, and if you want. But I just want to start with this amazing image of drying persimmons. This is, I haven't tasted these, and I don't think Barbara and Bob were as impressed by them as they thought they were going to be. But dried persimmons are a delicacy, I think, in Japan and China. And this is, I thought, a really striking photo of them being dried. And I thought maybe if they tasted good, we could have a garden club project next year of trying to dry them and sell them or give them away as presents. And more persimmons, and this beautiful photo of Sylvia and her husband. I love the fall colors of the tree and the hanging persimmons. And Sylvia in her beautiful red. I appreciated that view of Napa in the fall. And this is from Landry's garden. She sent me a week or so ago. Again, the gorgeous fall colors. So anyone who says that California doesn't have fall colors is wrong. We do.
We do.
But instead of being the entire state covered with color, they're like wonderful little spotlights for us, I think. So I really appreciate that. And this is a beautiful centerpiece.
Wow.
That Marianne sent me. Uh-oh, who's on the phone? Marianne, if you're still here, do you want to tell us anything about it?
Well, it's a combination of St. John's wort for the red ones, my neighbor's junipers for the greenery, and white mums and pine cones, which I think I got from Louise's arrangement last year.
Absolutely beautiful. I'm not familiar with St. John's wort berries, and that's just very beautiful. Are you growing that?
No.
Oh.
No.
Can we eat? Can we eat them?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I know.
St. John's wort is used as a tea or a medicine, but I've never heard of eating the berries, but they're so striking in that arrangement.
Yes. And they last a long time.
They're beautiful. Let's see, what else do I have here? Tanya sent me this little cup of Christmas cheer, which I think is quite wonderful. Although I'm sorry, I think I've cut the top of the tree off.
No, it's there.
Oh,
no.
Oh, I can't see it on my screen. Good, I'm glad you can see it. I love that combination of the succulents, and the tea cup is perfect for that. And Tanya also sent me this one with the wonderful, I guess, tillandsias or air plants in the wreath. I think that's the perfect idea for them because they don't need water. That's a really beautiful little wreath. And she sent me this beautiful little teapot. So thank you, Tanya. If you're still here, those are really special. I like the succulents and the colors.
Ideas for future centerpieces.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I got this one from Anna. Anna, are you here this morning?
I am here.
Oh, good. Oh, tell us, I know it's leucadendron. What else is in there?
Leucadendron, asparagus fern. And since the berries haven't come in on the asparagus fern yet, I took these from the neighbor. And then some grabilia. And just because it's me, I threw in some aeoniums. So everything is my garden except the berries. And I do have the berries, they just haven't turned yet. So,
well, it's really wonderful. These long leafy things, is that part of the leucadendron?
It's a leucadendron. They're silvery. The rocks come in, when they come in yellow, but mostly I get the silver, and that really, when the sun hits it, it stands out really nicely.
That is beautiful. Wow. Thank you. I absolutely love it when you guys send me things. These are wonderful little table centerpieces by our artistic Louise. A tiny bit blurry, but you can see that there's each little box has treasures. And
wow.
I love
nesting boxes that I put an arrangement in each box. So if I was having company and you were sitting around the table, I would put them down the middle of the table.
Do we get to take them home with us?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely beautiful. And Louise, your house is always way decorated, really fully decorated inside and out. If anybody goes by Louise's house, she's got all kinds of stuff on the outside. So our beautiful Lisa, who's the keeper of the club Santa Claus, took this little portrait of her wreath and of our Santa. And I think Louise joined us. Sorry, Lisa. Lisa, did you get here?
Yes, I got here. I just unmuted. Am I there?
So glad. Yes, good. Yes.
Good timing.
I came late because I had an appointment before, but I just joined you about 15 minutes ago.
Oh, I'm so glad you could make it. And I really appreciate that you sent the Santa. He actually featured in an earlier slide also.
Oh, I missed that. Okay. Anyway, here he is. And we don't have our Christmas tree this year. So this is the Santa also we have for happy hour.
Oh, well, perfect.
This is our happy hour. This is our happy hour Santa. Next year we'll do it big, right? Next year will be a big one.
Next year will be big. Yes. Well,
thank you, Martha.
I really appreciated that. And Marilyn Joyce has been making these really lavish arrangements out on her patio with all kinds of leaves and ornamental kale and lamb's ears, begonias, it looks like, very fancy. So Marilyn, thank you for sending me those each month. I've been appreciating getting those photos. Now, Kate and Nancy, yes, so the big tree on the left is in Kate's house, and the little tree on the little table is in Nancy's house. And you can see that at Kate's, she also has a Thanksgiving cactus still blooming. Do you guys want to say anything? Poppy, and if you do, they're beautifully decorated. And this is a small portion of what's blooming in their garden right now. Never say that the winter doesn't have flowers. And if you go over to the Queen of the Pansies, also known as Kate, you will see every kind of color and shape and beautiful flower in her garden. And these beautiful flowering shrubs, I've kind of put them together. This one is also from Kate. Gorgeous hydrangea, what a color.
Nice.
And
Beautiful.
she's got quite a few roses in bloom right now. And then this kind of crabby looking Santa Claus, in my opinion, but it's pretty fun. So thank you, Kate and Nancy, for sending me those photos. And then we already saw some of Germany, but this is more from Clark and Lemerle. Here's the little angel present that Lemerle showed. And these are some angels and nativities that Clark sent me. I think they must have quite a collection. That one is beautifully painted. And then these are some pictures that I just got from Joyce. Who's that?
I don't know. They look sort of familiar.
That beauty. So Joyce sent me these from our Christmas luncheon. And so I think it's nice. A few, I'm
beautiful.
Sorry. I couldn't quickly download all of them, but there's June, there's Lamb, all dressed up.
Nice.
Susan, and Marianne, that beautiful scarf, and Fleda, looking just so Christmassy. And look at these two cutie pies. And they're red and white, Marianne and Nancy. And here's our beautiful tree that
greatest sweater ever.
Oh, that sweater is so great.
Marvelous, Marion.
And the tree, as I think most of you know, a group of us decorate the trees in the community center every year. And this is one that we did last year. That's Lisa's project. And Laura, our member who never comes to meetings, I'm sorry to say, and our lovely Joyce next to the other tree. So I'm so glad you sent those, Joyce. Thank you. And then our new member, Bernadette, sent me these pictures of her winter vegetable garden because she's a newly inscribed in the edibles study group. And Bernadette, if you're still here, do you want to say anything about what's growing?
Yes. Up here in the corner where there's 2 bags and in our circular brick garden, that's lettuce. We have romaine and spring lettuce. In the bigger one, there's green onions and carrots. And there's something off to the left. I can't remember what it is. It's not doing so well, but it's still got green on it. And then down below where the solar panels are, there's more lettuce. We actually have, what is it called? The purple one. Eggplant. Lots of flowers, but nothing's happening. I think it's too late. But it looks beautiful. So, and we're eating them every day. Oh, and then up in the top where the lettuce is, that's my citronella plant that I have growing up under the trees.
Oh, nice.
Keep the mosquitoes away.
Well, and you see this, the solar panels, sometime Bernadette is going to be coerced into doing a presentation for us on how she and Jean built these backyard fountains that are solar powered. They've got several, and like bird baths and fountains everywhere. It just is wonderful. So I think that could be a future program. So, well, thank you, Bernadette. I'm happy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Just was nice shirt, nice t-shirt.
Oh yes, nice.
Stand up. What the elf? That's great.
Yeah, what the elf? Great way to end 2020, right?
Yeah, nice.
This is a beautiful display from Louise, A Peace on Earth, which I'm sure we're all hoping for. And that might be the last one I have. Oh no, and Louise is working on these corsages for Shields Nursing Home. And actually, Bernadette and Marion, I think, and Louise are going to work tomorrow, socially distanced in the beautiful sunny backyard, making more, and then they'll be delivered to Shields. Louise, do you want to say anything about that? If you're still here? Oh, she's still.
I think I've made about a dozen so far while I'm watching TV at night. I work on them. And I had a great donation from Linda Waxel, who went around and picked up wonderful pine cones that I'm using in the corsages, and they're all different shapes. Each one is one of a kind, and we'll be delivering them when we're done with our project. And if you want to put me on a big screen, I'd love to share my little dog with you.
Put you on a big screen. All right, let me, well, maybe we're finished with the slides. So let me take that off, and then I think you will be on a big screen. Louise, here you are. Now remember, we can't hear ambient noise very well. So let's see if we can do it.
Hey, I like that.
I want one. I want one. I keep myself cheerful by playing with toys.
There you go.
That's very good. And Bernadette, do you want to say anything about zozobra, which is something I don't know anything about?
In Santa Fe, New Mexico, they have been burning this, what they call this creature, zozobra, since 24, something like that. Let me look here. And it's a way where you turn in your gloom and everything that has been horrible. You send it in, they put it at the base of zozobra, and then they burn them. And it's a big festival in Santa Fe, New Mexico. It's been happening forever. And it used to be that it was just the locals that knew about it. And then as Santa Fe became more popular, it was mainly done for the tourists. This year, 2020, because of COVID, it was done virtually. And they had drones filming live. You could watch it live, which nobody ever could do in the past 10 or 15 years because they started charging to get in to see it. Whereas back in the day when I was a kid, you could walk there, stand on the outskirts and watch them burn, go home. But this year they did it virtually, and we actually watched it from our living room, and it was amazing. So I sent the link in the chat. You can go to the YouTube and watch it. It's only 6 minutes. It doesn't take very long for him to go up in flame and burn away all the doom and the gloom of the year. And then you start a new year.
What did you call that, Bernadette? A zobra?
Zozobra.
Zolbra.
Zozobra. Z-O-B-R-A.
Is that a Spanish word?
I think so.
Indigenous word? Interesting.
Maybe indigenous. Zobra, Z-O-B-R-A.
Zobra, zozobra.
Zozo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check your chat link. Check your chat, and I put the link in there.
Okay.
And tell me again, where do they do this?
In Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Ah, see, it looks like Burning Man, doesn't it?
Oh, I don't know. He's referred to. When it first started, it was first started by the Kiwanis in a way to raise money for the children of Santa Fe or the children in the area. And it was called Old Man Gloom. So it was a way that they could, when they started charging for it, to put the money to good use. Where in the past, it was just an old, I don't know, cultural event for the people. It was time to get rid of all the bad stuff that has happened. And then they kind of tied it into Labor Day, fiestas, whereas I think in the past it wasn't around that. It was just something totally different. But now it's Labor Day weekend. It kicks off the Labor Day fiestas that happen in Santa Fe.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. It's beautiful.
People have shared so much. Does anyone else want to share a tradition or an anecdote? Or I know the board kind of made the program, so there wasn't room for other people, but we're still here. And also, I just want to say hi to Mandy, who we haven't seen at a meeting before, and it's good to see you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm on two canes, so it's hard to get around, and 2 hospitalizations over the last year. So yeah, and 2 months in the rehab.
What a terrible year, but we're glad to see you this morning. I'm so
Thank you. Thank you. This is very uplifting. Thank you.
Oh, good. And Paula, we're seeing her fish tank, but not her, but she's here. So that's nice. So I'm just so pleased that so many came, and, please raise your hand or speak up if you want to tell a little something or have a little comment. I'm doing all the talking.
Okay.
Anybody want to share? Bernadette? Oh, you're muted, honey.
I am sorry. There's one other, what do you call it?
I don't know.
Celebration that we do in New Mexico, and that's the lighting of the farolitos, where they put the sand in the paper bags, and then you put a candle in them and you light them up. And if you ever go into New Mexico during the holiday months, Christmas and holidays, they're everywhere. They've now become electrified because of the fire issue, but in the old days, it was always the children filling the bags with about 2 inches of sand, and then the candle votives that burned for 4 hours that you would light, and then they would lead the way and decorate all the houses. And it was part of the posada, talking about leading the baby Jesus to find his home wherever he was going. They were lighting the road. So it's really beautiful. And if you happen to be driving around our neighborhood, I put them up every year in front of our house. So I haven't done it yet, but it's going to happen. But if you happen to come by, I usually start it, and I do them every night, and they burn for a couple of hours. And I use the little tea lights. So I don't even know how long those burn for, like maybe 2 hours or something. But that's what we do here.
It's very pretty at your house, Bernadette. And Eileen sent me a photo. I just haven't been able to get it together, that she also has candle luminaria or farolitos at in front of her house or on your roof. Did you say, Eileen? So I'm sorry that I couldn't get that photo up in time to show it. But it sounds like it's worth driving by her house on the Arlington and looking at her beautiful display. That would be very good. And Marion, your hand was up?
Yes, I watched a very cute Christmas movie called Christmas Chronicles on Netflix. It is with the fellow that's married to Goldie Hawn. Right at the moment, I have a senior moment.
Kurt
Russell.
Russell.
It's called Christmas Chronicles on Netflix.
Can I just say something about that movie? in the end, when she comes walking in and she turns around and you find out it's Goldie Hawn, I started crying.
Oh, I knew. Yeah.
I was just like, oh.
There's also a Chronicles, Christmas Chronicles 2.
Yes,
but
and it's just as good.
Yeah. But it is a cute movie.
Oh, good. Anyone else want to? Eileen, yes, unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm going to try to share my screen of the picture, the luminarias that I have. My sister sent years ago when we were there in Santa Fe, and yeah, we saw all the old town adobes with paper bags. The kids must do nothing from Thanksgiving on except do that. But she sent me some from Long's drugstore plastic bags on a string of lights, and so they're up. I almost got them up for Advent for lighting the Christ Child's Way. Let me see if I can share the screen.
May I say something about those?
Sure.
Old time, it is farolitos.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say next. My sister sent a note saying it's farolitos in Santa Fe, but
in New Mexico it is. Outside of New Mexico, and everybody who came in, they changed it because of some other tradition. But it's always in New Mexico, farolitos.
Right. Can you see my screen or no?
Not yet.
It says share screen.
Okay. And then you have to push share again once you see the thing that you're sharing.
Did that work?
Not yet.
Nope.
Oh, well, I see Louise and I see my picture.
So once you see your desktop and you see the picture on the desktop, you need to click it and then say share. Yes. Now
okay.
You got it.
That's my carport roof. So they're on a timer. So from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock, at 1740, watch the curve, pay attention to the road, don't look at
When we get to your house, can we just stop?
Yeah, but not on the curb. No, I'm not kidding about the curb. One night somebody took out both cars of my neighbor across the street because they didn't.
Oh no.
So yeah, actually the best way to do it is to come uphill from the scenic cutting side and look across the street. But anyway, there they are. And the wind blows them over once in a while, but I've got a line of rebar under hooking them together and down, and I'm pruning today or tomorrow and putting some greenery up. But those are the lights. If nothing else, those are the lights. Oh,
they're beautiful.
Wonderful. They really are.
Yes.
Yeah, and they last. I got them, geez, 25 years ago. So, but they're only up for a week or so. But this year, everything up early.
Wow, yeah, that's nice. Very nice.
And my little reindeer headband has earrings, which every year I have to sew the earrings back on. But my granddaughters love this headband, and I love the Christmas tree headband that you have, Fong.
Oh,
it's cactus, Louise. Are yours cactus head on your headband?
Yes, I think she's got a cactus reindeer.
Cactus reindeer. Cool. Okay, thanks. It's great to be in the. Well, I figured that out. Thanks, Martha, for this.
Oh, sure. That was really beautiful. That was great. Now, and then you just press stop share, and that will take your screen down.
Sharing. I am screen. Found it. Thank you.
Okay, got it.
Very good. See, that's excellent. Now, Clark, are you raising your hand, or are you just saying hi?
Hi. I just wanted to do a little commercial break for Penny Pines. We have checks already, and we are so grateful. I should say, I'm grateful. All of us are grateful, and so are the little creatures of the forest grateful. We're really wanting to have a big year in Penny Pines. So if you are feeling able, please send a check to Dorothy and put Penny Pines on the bottom of the check, and we'll see what happens by the end of June, I think, is when we want to send our contribution off to this important effort. So thanks.
Thank you, Ranger Clark. You're a very good advocate. Anyone else want to share? I know this meeting is 2 hours long and you're also sweet to stay. Bonnie.
I just wanted to say, if you go into the chat, I put the link for the Kwanzaa. So if you want to go in and look at it, you can do so.
Okay.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Bernadette.
Thank you.
In the chat bar.
I don't see it there.
Did you put it in a long time ago?
I put it into, it says to everyone.
Right, but a while ago. So
and Landry again. Oh, everyone. Okay,
yes. So I guess if you paste and copy it.
But
I don't see it.
No, it just says everyone, and then you click on that and there's nothing.
Right.
They say what?
We don't see it, Bonnie. Maybe.
No.
Yeah, but it
says
was
everyone.
It was the History Channel, right? So we can just say History Channel Kwanzaa video and probably get it that way. Okay.
I don't know. I didn't look at it. I mean, that's not the way I got it. So I'm supposed, yeah, it's there. I'm looking at it.
Really?
In the chat?
In the chat.
You sent it to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Hit send, honey. Hit send.
Hit send. There's no send.
Hit enter on your keyboard. Hit enter on, you see it in your message in the message box, then hit enter and then it'll go. You're looking at it.
Just hit return.
Yeah, return or enter, whatever on your keyboard.
No, but I don't see anything that, just on my keyboard.
Just on your keyboard, hit return.
I did. I hit
whatever, don't hit it. Be nice.
Bonnie, is it the one with BG? Bonnie, is it the one with BGRO? Is that
it's underneath Lisa's. It's underneath Lisa's.
No, it's not there yet.
No, it's there. It's like, okay, let me see. Now, how do I, okay, so I say.
Hit enter.
Save.
Bonnie, is the link BGROGER?
No,
it says HTTP research, here.
You need, just copy and paste it into the type message here.
I'll put it in chat or in chat.
Right, everyone.
Here, I'll give it to, okay, and I did do everyone.
You have to click
one. You want me to pick? Okay, now send chat to, and it says everyone. Okay. And then
you type it.
Huh? It's in there.
Now hit return.
Okay.
Yay, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, got
it. Good. Thank you so much. So, of course, Kwanzaa is not a holiday that Bonnie celebrates. She said she grew up with Santa Claus, but she was willing to do this research, which was so nice.
But and I think it's really, it's very informative, and I couldn't have given
it nice
justice. So if you want to paste and copy it, if you paste it now,
copy now.
After we get off and go into, and then you put it in your address bar, then you can pull it up.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, everybody. Any last tidbits? Sharda, how nice to see you, Sharda. Unmute yourself if you want to talk. Unmute.
Oh, where's Sharda?
Sharda is not talking yet. Oh,
yay, good. Hey. You did it. Speak.
Yeah, I enjoy.
Shada? Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I hear you. Say something.
Hi, Funk.
Hi, Shada. You guys hear her?
I'm so happy to see everybody.
Oh, nice.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, I'm going to leave now, guys.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
I love all of your hats and decorations. You guys look fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, presenters, and thank you so much, audience.
Louise.
I hope you were doing some good singing at home. I'm
Yes.
sorry we couldn't sing together successfully.
Before we leave, can I say something from the news I just heard? Can I say quick from the news I just heard before we start our Zoom?
Only if it's good news, Fong. I don't want to hear
good news. Good news. DHS has announced by February everybody will be vaccinated. Not spring, not summer, February.
Well,
good news.
Good news. You know?
That's very helpful. Good. Yeah. I hope that's true. So everybody stay healthy and safe. Oh, I forgot to announce. Darn. There's only a few people left. Joyce had the idea of having an extra Zoom meeting on the day after Christmas. And I think it's a good one, just very informal, just a chat, just to drop in. It'll be on the same number that we're using today. And I'll send out a reminder, I guess, to everybody, since I forgot to mention it. Just a time to socialize if people want to. No agenda or program.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much, Martha, for today.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much,
That was great, everybody.
Everybody, bye.
I'm gonna, Louise.
Great meeting.
Louise, I'm
Louise, I'll see you tomorrow.
Roha Vainach.
And we are having a board meeting next week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
All right.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Good meeting, Martha. Great
Good
meeting.
meeting. Good job.
Thank you so much, both of you, all of you.